Hello everyone, it's Anita, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my time studying abroad at the University of Helsinki in Finland. I've been back for a while. I flew home on the 15th of December, so I had some time to reflect, and I'm going to touch on different things. And yeah, so I'll make some chapters. I think that's what they call, so you can skip to those chapters that you're interested in. So let's start with my arrival to Helsinki. If you haven't seen my other videos, I'll also link my playlist somewhere. So I flew to Helsinki on the 28th of August, and it was a rainy day when I got there. Like the weather was not that great. I felt normal, sort of, like I didn't feel weird. I'm really good with these kinds of changes. Like I just got there and was like, yeah, I live in Finland now. So that wasn't, I didn't have a culture shock or anything. I'm from Switzerland, by the way. So yeah, everything was normal. I couldn't move into the studio that I got through the university because my contract started on the 1st of September, and I asked them if I could move in earlier, but that was not possible because I guess someone was still staying in the studio that I was going to get. So yeah, but you can ask them, and sometimes it's already free and then you can move in earlier. So I got a really cheap hotel. I couldn't make myself at home really because I was still at the hotel. We had a welcome week, which was great. So we were in groups of, I don't know how many people, I want to say like 10 people or so. Yeah, each group had 2 tutors that were showing us around, like explaining how things worked, but there were also fun events that they organized for our faculty. So the people were from the same faculty, not necessarily the same study program. In my group specifically, all of us were master's students and like in the same field, and I ended up having one course with a couple of the people from my group, so that was interesting that then I already knew some people. So yeah, that was really helpful. The university generally is very super organized and helpful. They take you through the process of registering with the authorities. I mean, they send out the information, but like the final step was to meet with those people. It's a bit hard to explain, but we had one afternoon where we could go and do like all of the things, like finalize the registration and also get our public transportation cards, talk to people that organize language learning courses, meet different societies, to join the society. That afternoon was really helpful. I think for some people it was in the morning, but for me it was in the afternoon, so it was quite nice. I didn't have anything to really worry about. Also, I'm from Switzerland, and so I didn't need a visa for Finland. So I guess for other people, they might have more paperwork and stuff, so I cannot speak on that. That was like my arrival experience. On the 1st of September, which was a Friday, I was able to move into my studio. Yeah, and then that was that. I will get to housing in the next section of this video. Again, generally my arrival was pretty smooth. Alright, so speaking of housing, I stayed at a studio provided by UniHome. There are 2 university related student accommodations. There's UniHome, there's HOAS, I think. It's HOAS. During the application process for the university, I also had to check what student accommodation I wanted, and I selected a studio apartment, and I just chose UniHome. I don't remember why anymore, but yeah. Then I ended up getting a studio, which I've heard of some people that had troubles getting accommodation throughout the university. So I was really, I guess, lucky that I got the studio. And yeah, it was the easiest option for me, even though you can probably find cheaper options. But yeah, so that studio was furnished, and I just seemed like a really easy way to, figure out my living situation. So I paid, so the thing is, if a month had 30 days, I had to pay 615 euros. If the month had 31 days, I had to pay 635. It's quite expensive, in my opinion. But yeah, I really wanted my own space, and yeah, so that was a priority for me. If you can also rent just rooms in a shared apartment, I mostly heard good things about that. So like most people had good roommates and things like that. So yeah, I can definitely do that. But yeah, so I have my studio. It was 35 minutes away from the city center by bus, which wasn't a big deal for me because in Switzerland it takes much longer for me to commute to my home university. So yeah, and also it was nice because it was a bit outside of the city. I don't know, like I mean, there's generally a lot of nature in Finland, so it's not like if you're in the city, you know, it's like you'll still experience a lot of the nature. So I had a nice view of some trees. It was really nice in the fall when I moved in, but also in the winter times when there was a lot of snow and stuff. So yeah, so that was nice, and I really didn't mind the commute. Also with the housing situation, it was fine with me. It's like it was fine. There were some problems, for example, in the laundry room. There were some machines that weren't working or had some issues, and there was a drying room where people would put up their clothes, but it was so crowded, and sometimes I got to use it, but other times it was just, yeah, it was a mess. So yeah, I didn't use it, which these situations can be frustrating, but overall it was manageable. I guess that can happen anywhere, so it's not really specific to that student accommodation. But so the next chapter is about the University of Helsinki, studying there and the courses, things like that. At my home university, I'm getting a master's in political science. There, they put me in the master's track, global politics and communications, or something like that. So it wasn't just politics. And I wrote a lot of courses in English. So that's one of the reasons why I chose the University of Helsinki, because they have so many courses in English, and a lot of them sounded super interesting. I can highly recommend the university in that regard, because yeah, the courses were of high quality. I took some courses that I couldn't have taken here in Switzerland, and the professors were knowledgeable. Yes, I learned a lot and it was fun. The semester was split into 2 quarters, because they have quarters there, or periods, they call them periods, but for me it's just like a quarter of the year. So yeah, anyway, instead of a semester. And in the first quarter I took 2 classes. One was advanced research methods, case study and process tracing, and the other one was populism, polarization and the media. In the second period quarter, I took advanced research methods, interim methods, politics of European human rights, and radicalization and countering radicalization in Europe. As well as throughout the whole semester, I took a Finnish language course. So yeah, that lasted the entire semester. Like I said, I learned a lot. Also, I didn't have to do as much coursework as I have to do for my courses in Switzerland. I feel like the objective was more about learning experience and not like forcing you to do unnecessary things. Although I have to say, like, I've heard of people that took some courses that required more assignments. So yeah, maybe I was just lucky in that regard. But yeah, so everything was manageable. Also the grades, like some professors were very nice and were very generous with their grading, I feel like. Again, more than people here in Switzerland, but again, it really depended on the course you took. Also, something I found interesting about the university is that there are so many different student associations that you can join. So I highly recommend looking into those. Maybe you'll find some you like. I personally, I was a member of the Erasmus Student Network, and so they organize a lot of events for exchange students or international students. So yeah, I went to their events. Like, they had some fun either like trips that you can join, or I went to a paint and wine event they organized. They also did parties. They also did Tzitzit. Tzitzit is an academic dinner party. I went to one that was like Halloween themed, so had to wear a costume. Yeah, that was fun. Like, there you you eat and you sing. So singing is like, so especially I feel like the singing is a big part of it. So it's yeah, it was really fun. And yeah, since it was Halloween, although a lot of cities have like some interesting dress codes, so it wasn't just Halloween. Obviously, like I also like to explore things on my own, and sometimes I just didn't have time to join like their events. But yeah, overall I would recommend becoming a member. And I was also a member of Finmun, so the Finnish Model UN Society, because yeah, Model UN is also something I do in my home university, so I figured why not join that society there as well, and that was really nice. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot you can do, a lot of societies. Yeah, and also the student culture is completely different from the one we have here in Switzerland. I guess in Switzerland we don't really have a student culture, I don't know. There it was like very obvious, like they wear overalls. So like depending on the faculty or study program, your overall has another color. I also had one, but mine was for exchange students, for members of ESN. And so I got one, and what you do is you have to sew on patches. So basically like these patches reflect your personality, or like you can customize the overall by sewing different patches on. You can see people like walking around these overalls even if there's no event. I don't want to say every day, but I feel like most days I saw someone wearing an overall. And last thing I want to say about the university, besides like, again, it's a great university, well organized, nice buildings, you know, everything works, everything's good. But what I also cannot forget to mention is the cheap student meals. They have a lot of these uni cafes, university cafeterias, and they were all, at least the ones I went to, were all buffet style. There were different menus, so you could put as much food on your plate as you wanted to, and the total was €2.85. I'm not sure if they differentiate between vegan meals and others. Yeah, that was extremely cheap, and I wish that yeah, our meals in Switzerland were that cheap, but yeah. So that's something I'm going to miss because you do save a lot of money. Life in general in Finland or slash Helsinki, I think so. Helsinki or Finland generally, it's just not that busy. I feel like the energy was super calm. So when you walk throughout the city, there's enough space, like you don't need to worry about bumping into people or anything like that. It's just really, I felt like it was really relaxed. The atmosphere was really relaxed. It might not be for everyone, but I quite enjoyed it. Also, there's a lot of nature around you. I really enjoyed that. And I was also really lucky with the weather because it started to snow super early. We had our first snow on the 30th of October, but yeah, it melted off right away. And then I think around mid-November it started to really snow, and the snow stayed, and yeah, it was like a winter wonderland. And yeah, I love that. I never lived in a city where the snow stayed like that, because usually, so here in Switzerland, like the snow melts, especially in the cities, and it's like this weird mud type snow. So there in Helsinki the snow was yeah, so it stayed like that. It was really pretty, and yeah, it was cold, but I do like the cold. That's like one of the reasons why I went there, because I don't mind cold weather at all. I actually prefer to hot weather. So there's a lot to do like in the city, but it's also really easy to travel to other places in Finland. So also student discount on trains. It was like 30% off at that time. And yeah, and also it's also easy to go to Tallinn, so the capital of Estonia. I did that a couple of times. One of my highlights was definitely my trip to Rovaniemi. That was absolutely amazing, and I really want to go back there. Yeah, so there's a lot you can do. I also joined the university gym, and they had sports courses, and you can, yeah, and the normal gym, obviously, a couple of gyms in the city. Yeah, so honestly, with all the other events organized by student organizations, things like that, like I won't get boring. So yeah, there's always something to do. Now I just quickly want to talk about whether I've learned Finnish or not. I made some language related videos in the past. You might be wondering if I actually learned Finnish. And yeah, I also just mentioned that I took a Finnish language course. So yeah, so the answer is not really. So I learned the basics. I learned a couple of like important sentences, things like that. But it is a difficult language because it's not related to any language that I speak. I will insert some clips here because for one of the assignments we had to film ourselves having a conversation in Finnish, and I will just insert some clips of the parts I said because I don't want to put the other person in my video because they don't know that I'm doing this. So yeah, so here are the clips.
Me on Sveitsistä. Me asun Badenissa. Mistä sä oot kotoisin? Me on 28, entä se? Mulla on 5 koiraa ja yli 40 kilpikonnaa.
But yeah, I'm really unsure if I want to keep learning it. It's not that I don't like the language, it's just the time. So I'm not sure if I want to invest the time right now, but yeah, I might do it at a later point in life. But yeah, I'll keep you updated if I do that. The last thing I want to talk about is my departure. So that was also interesting because I had to clean the entire studio, and that was a bit stressful. But other than that, I didn't. How do I describe this? So I was prepared for it. I knew, when I had my flight that I needed to clean the studio, when I wanted to do what and stuff. It's not like I was sad to leave Finland, even though I had a great time and everything. But it's just, I think now looking back that the last days in Finland were like the start of my latest quarter-life crisis, because I get those quite often actually. Because I realized then that that was coming to an end, and that my studies were soon coming to an end because I just have one semester left. And I started to overthink and have my little quarter-life crisis about what I want to do after my studies, and I don't know, just all these things you tend to think about when one chapter of your life closes. And yeah, so I felt a bit weird. So I had some mixed emotions, but it wasn't that I didn't want to go home or anything like that. It was just like the realization that, okay, this was coming to an end. And also the semester abroad flew by so quickly. I felt like I blinked and it was over. Overall, I felt really grateful for having this opportunity. I was also ready to come home. It's not, again, like I didn't want to come home or stuff like that. But yeah, so my departure was a bit hectic. It was a bit emotional because again, I was really stressed about cleaning the apartment. I remember it took me so long to clean it, and I was hungry because I didn't have dinner. I ran to the nearest Hesburger, which is a Finnish burger place, fast food place. I ended up cleaning and stuff, I feel like until 1:30 a.m. and then I finally called an Uber to take me to my hostel. And yeah, that was like a whole story, like a whole odyssey. I ended up sleeping maybe 2-3 hours because I had a flight at 8 a.m. and I had a hostel near the airport, but still the whole thing was a mess. I could have been avoided by planning everything a bit better. But yeah, I think these were all my reflections. Like if you have any questions about studying abroad in general, or my time in Helsinki, or anything else related to this, feel free to write them in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it was helpful, or at least somewhat entertaining. If you haven't subscribed, it would make my day if you did that. See you in my next video. Bye!